First item would be to approve minutes from the Common Council. We have 4 different meeting minutes to consider for approval. We have a regular session on September 22nd, an executive session on September 22nd, a special meeting on October 1, and an executive session on October 1. All those minutes have been available for your review in board pack prior to tonight's meeting. Do we have any questions on the minutes as submitted? Not anyone here to a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Kissling.
I'll second the motion.
Second by McFerrin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Claims were also, the claim docket was available for your review as well. Any questions or comments on the claims as presented? Do we have a motion to approve the claims?
Motion to approve the claims.
Motion by Kissling.
I'll second.
Second by Ware. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We have before you the budget ordinance for 2021. We did have the public hearing on the city budget at our previous meeting, and this is the final version to be submitted. Tom, any questions or comments about the budget as presented?
No, it hasn't changed since we did that. Glenn, you'll have to abstain, but everybody else can vote.
And this would be the final reading of 2024. Any questions before we call for the vote? Call for a motion. Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2024 for the appropriation of tax rates for the city of Huntingburg in 2021?
Motion made.
Motion by McFerrin.
Second.
Second by Dubon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We have one abstention, correct? One abstention.
Kissling.
Roll call, please.
Abstain.
Due to state law, I must abstain.
Okay. Bounds. McFerrin.
Aye.
Dubon.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
3 ayes, 1 abstention, 1 absent.
The ordinance hereby passes. Next up, we have an ordinance establishing no parking on Geiger Street. This is an ordinance that was forwarded to the council after review by the Board of Public Works. If you recall, there was a change in the parking on the north side of this intersection earlier this year, and as they went out to do the striping on that, they noticed that there was the area right there in front of the church was having a similar problem to the north side of the intersection. So it's the recommendation of both the street commissioner and the fire and police chief to extend that no parking on the west side of 4th Street on the south line of south of 4th on Geiger for a distance of 85 feet. Again, this was reviewed by the Board of Works and forwarded to the council with a positive recommendation. Any questions on the ordinance as presented?
Is that like 3 car lengths?
It's about 3 car lengths, yeah. It goes about to where their driveway entrance is on the. If you look, there's the street is painted.
Yeah.
With a white line. That would be the new striping on the street that it would be approved.
Gotcha.
Questions on the ordinance? Do we have a number, Tom?
2025.
We have before us ordinance number 2020-25, an ordinance amending the Huntingburg Code of Ordinances, Chapter 75, providing for no parking on portions of designated streets within the city of Huntingburg. Do I have a motion to introduce?
Motion to introduce.
Motion by Ware. Second?
Second.
Second by Kissling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. If the council is there a desire to pass this evening, or do we want to table it for further review?
Pass it if we can.
Okay,
We got the
we
number.
can. I didn't know if sometimes with parking ordinances there's discussion.
Maybe you have to wait. I don't know.
It's first reading.
This is first reading.
Yeah, with one person, you still have 4, which would be 2/3. Two-thirds.
We can't,
Two-thirds of-
we could still consider all the items introduced. I know sometimes
Parking.
with parking,
I would move to let it sit
Table.
until,
have a
allow public comment.
final reading on
Yeah.
next council meeting.
I would, if
Okay.
anybody's,
No way that you get time for comment.
if there's any comment, I mean, it's been studied and
Yeah.
we have, you know, the backing of the police department and the street department, but it, I want to make sure every angle's looked at.
Okay, we will hold it for a final reading at the future meeting. Next up, we have another ordinance for consideration. This would be an ordinance establishing and amending the truck routes in the city of Huntingburg. Then again, this is another ordinance that was forwarded to this board after positive recommendation from the Board of Public Works, the street commissioner, the city attorney, and the police department worked on a new, just updating. There were several streets that were not included in changes in the truck routes. The document in front of you and the list that's an attachment to that shows what streets would be affected. If this ordinance is adopted, the street commissioner will be sending that document to Google Maps and have them enter that in the database, as hopefully that if truck drivers would be using their GPS systems or your Google Map systems, it would indicate where those truck routes are, at least assist somewhat in keeping them aware of where those the truck routes are. So again, this is an amendment to the existing ordinance, just cleaning up and adding and removing streets that are no longer part of the street plan. Again, the street commissioner, the police, and the city attorney prepared this document and its recommendation of the Board of Works to adopt. Any questions on the ordinance?
2020-26.
This would be ordinance number 2020-26, amending Chapter 74, providing for weight restrictions, exceptions on designated streets within the city of Huntingburg. We have a motion to introduce.
Motion introduced.
Motion by Ware, second.
Second?
Second by McFerrin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. As there's unanimous consent to do so, we can consider this ordinance on the same evening it was introduced. If we have a motion to suspend the rules and consider.
Motion.
Motion by Kissling to suspend the rules.
I'll second.
Second by Dubon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. The rules are hereby suspended and we consider the ordinance for adoption. This is ordinance number 2020-26, amending Code of Ordinance Chapter 74, providing for weight restrictions on designated streets within the city of Huntingburg. Do I have a motion for adoption?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Ware,
I'll second.
second by McFerrin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Dipple?
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds. McFerrin.
Aye.
Dubon.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
4 ayes, 1 absent. Ordinance number 2026 is hereby adopted. We have before you another ordinance for introduction this evening. This would be the salary ordinances for 2021. This is for all city employees. The detail that you have in front of there reflects the council's discussion at the time of the budget, where it was determined a 1.5% across the board increase was made in the positions listed in the ordinance. One thing that is different in the text portion, other than the salary portion, we did add a section 11. And this is reflective of the time that the COVID time where we established a policy for stay-home pay during a declared emergency. So that is, as from the text portion, Tom, is that the only addition to that? But this was a policy that we had been used for this, was adopted, and now needs to be part of the ordinance for next year.
It was an amendment to the the previous salary ordinance. And I guess going forward, you want it in there.
Right.
In case it comes up again.
Yeah. And it was, the previous ordinance was amended to have the same section in it, and now we just like to have it as part of the ordinance going forward as well. Any questions about the salary ordinance as proposed? So this would be 2020-27. So we have before us ordinance 2020-27, fixing salaries for the city of Huntingburg for the year 2021. We have a motion to introduce.
Motion.
Motion by McFerrin to introduce,
I'll second.
second by Kissling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Does the council wish to carry this over or consider it for adoption this evening?
I consider it for adoption.
So if we want to consider it for adoption, we can suspend the rules and consider the ordinance on the same evening it was introduced, if there's a motion to do so.
Make that motion.
Motion by Kissling,
Second.
second by Ware. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the motion passes, and we can consider ordinance number 2020-27 for adoption. It's fixing salaries for the city of Huntingburg for the year 2021. Do I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Kissling,
I'll second the motion.
second by McFerrin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Vote please.
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds. McFerrin.
Aye.
Dubon.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
4 ayes, 1 absent. Ordinance number 2020-27 is hereby adopted. Normally, this is kind of an easy thing to discuss. It's guidelines for trick-or-treating for 2020, but in this year, everything is a little bit different than usual. As we consider the times and dates for trick-or-treating, I did consult with other mayors across the state of Indiana for similar items, and received some information that I shared with our county health department. It was reviewed by the county health department. The proposal that you have before you reflects a recommendation from the health department that they are asking the cities who offer trick-or-treating this year some guidelines under the current COVID situation, suggested guidelines for them. They are asking that trick-or-treating be allowed on Saturday, October 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. And the proper social distancing is an item in nearly every one of these recommendations, that everyone wear a face mask that covers the nose and mouth. The parents who accompany children carry hand sanitizer and use it before the children are removing their masks and frequent use. Those who are considered high risk due to age or health conditions are encouraged not to participate. Residents who are not comfortable in participating are encouraged not to turn on their porch light, as that would be an indication that your home is accepting trick-or-treaters. Those who are trick-or-treating are encouraged to only visit homes with the light on to, again, meet the wishes of those homeowners. If they are handing out candy, it's encouraged that they limit contact as much as possible and use hand sanitizers and washing hands between contact. And if you're handing out candy or other food, that they use only prepackaged food from a manufacturer and there be no homemade items. And while handing out candy, please place the items in the children's bag container and do not let the children grab their own treats. So it's a guideline, again, which was reviewed by our county health department and is the recommendation for us this evening. Do you have any questions or comments on the guidelines as suggested? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the trick-or-treating guidelines for 2020 for the city of Huntingburg as proposed?
Make that motion.
Motion by Kissling,
I'll second the motion.
second by McFerrin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. And for the record, I spoke with Fire Chief Pat Berg today, and the fire department normally has a trick-or-treating event at the fire station on Halloween, but due to these situations and the exposure possibility, that event will be canceled for this year and hopefully reinstated in the year to come. So from the city standpoint, that's the only city activity related to Halloween, and the fire department has chosen not to offer that on this particular year. This time, I would like to speak to the council about a proposal going forward concerning some consolidation and department realignment in the city of Huntingburg. As the city is facing budget concerns due to the reduced revenues as a result of COVID-19, I have been looking closely at ways for our city government to become more effective while still providing the high-quality services for our citizens and that they are accustomed to and deserve. There are concerns that need to be addressed now, but also going forward as a community for the future. I am proposing a realignment of two of our major departments with the goals of reducing costs, increasing efficiency, and providing high-quality service as the driving factors. This proposal will create a department that combines the efforts of the street department and the parks department under one superintendent and will result in cost savings in both personnel and operations. Over the years, the growth of our city parks has been placing demands on the Parks Department that are not being adequately addressed. The concerns, and they're not being adequately addressed by this administration. Concerns have been expressed to me that the level of maintenance in the parks is not where it should be. And this, I believe, is a direct result of the continued growth of our public facilities. With the addition of the Market Street Park and the completion of the Northside Park within the next year, the need for change is evident. Simply adding more personnel, especially during the challenging economic times we are in, is not a proper response. We need to focus all resources the city has to ensure a high reputation that the city parks of Huntingburg is maintained. And we have, without a doubt, one of the finest park systems in the state of Indiana, and we need to take moves that maintains that status. The need to address those concerns, coupled with the declining revenues, has prompted a thorough discussion on how to best utilize all the resources we have in order to control costs. A large percentage of the city budget is dedicated to personnel. I am extremely proud of the work that is accomplished every day by those who are employed by the city of Huntingburg. But as every business is facing economic challenges and what they are doing during these times, now is the time to rethink how we provide the services our citizens expect within current budget constraints. Many of the challenges faced by the Parks Department center around having adequate staffing and resources. It was determined that much of the labor-intensive work done in the parks was very similar to work being done by the street department. In many cities across the country and here in Indiana, this kind of department has the responsibility of maintenance of the streets and parklands, as the manpower and equipment to do so is very similar. Such would be the case in this proposal. Our initial study on the potential cost savings in personnel costs under this consolidation is in excess of $80,000 annually. That number is significant and deserves not only more study, but action. The structure being proposed is not unfamiliar to the city of Huntingburg. In our energy department, we have one superintendent who oversees the operation of both gas and electric departments, with crew chiefs assigned to carry out the daily duties in each division. This is also true in our water department, where there are crew chiefs overseeing the distribution system and the treatment facility under the direction of the one water superintendent. In these departments, many times, the manpower and equipment is shared to make sure work is completed effectively and efficiently. There are many details that need to be considered in finalizing this proposal, such as department structure, board structure, and how the budgets would be administered. Should the council agree, I will instruct the city attorney to begin drafting the proper ordinances that would move us through this process. There will be input from the council, from the members of the Board of Public Works and Safety, from the park board members before any plan is finalized. And the leadership in each of these departments will be part of the discussion. The goal of the proposal is the realignment of work with the combined departments, and that all current employees will have positions offered to them as part of this realignment. We have a dedicated employees who can achieve this goal and bring a high level of service to the citizens of Huntingburg. I believe this can be a positive move that is fiscally responsible for the city of Huntingburg and is sustainable in the long term, and I ask for your support. So with that statement, I would ask if there's any questions or comments from the council, and I would like to have a affirmation of whether or not this proposal should be studied going forward, so that we can proceed with the due diligence to come back to the council with a proper proposal. Questions or comments from the council?
I have a question,
Yes.
and I don't know that you're going to have the answer now, but it is something, in our current park structure, we receive some money from the township.
Yes.
Right.
Would this proposal potentially change that?
No. And looking at, speaking with the city attorney, I'm looking at some ways that this realignment would happen. There would still be in budgetary ways to receive those funds, not only those funds, but any other kind of funds that are normally received and distributed by the Parks Department. That would be part of the realignment to determine how those functions would be maintained and structured under any kind of alignment. But that does not put that receipt in any jeopardy, nor we're in the process in the middle of a grant application. There would still be a mechanism for projects such as the Northside Park project to proceed without any kind of...
Receive funds from outside sources.
Yeah, right. Right.
That's the one question I have.
I like the fact that the personnel could be interchanged, because I know there's times when park needs more manpower and the city may need help pouring concrete or something, that you can pull that manpower. And in the wintertime, this project probably could be done together, I think, better. And also the time of our budget and our economy, obviously the savings is a big attraction, in my opinion. I mean, 80,000 doesn't sound like a lot, but it is.
Where does that 80,000 come from? Who makes that up if everybody's going to be still working?
That's part of that is there is one position that has not been filled at this time. And if this alignment happens, there would be an ability to save that, and there would be savings if there was one superintendent.
So this $80,000 doesn't exist right now? Is that what you're saying?
Primarily going to be through payroll, a lot of it.
Yes.
Because you're not going to replace the personnel.
We have an opening, and we're not potentially
We're not
not
spending
going
the money now, is what I'm saying.
You're correct. But
There would be a reduction of that amount if the proposal, and that's left to be determined, but if there is, it would be a reduction in the overall cost for personnel in the department by about that amount.
there is
Board member, can we ask his opinion, or
Sure.
not? What you think, Mike? What's
I didn't hear you.
I say your park board member, what's your thinking about this?
Well,
And we got to,
we have, do you want me to go up to the podium and I'm okay here?
you're
Let's
fine.
introduce yourself.
Yeah.
We have one of the best parks and systems around, and the crews there are really good at what they do, but it's so small. Any little thing happens with straight line winds come through anything, it's kind of like a child's soccer team. They have to run over and take care of this problem. They get that one down the room and take care of that problem, but not fixing anything for the future or making things better. And what you're saying is true. They have a team of people that can address anything from curb and gutter to lawnmower and whatever the case may be on a given day. That's going to help tremendously. With the way the parks are going now, spread out all over the town, and Larry's only got just a few people to work with, it would be a tremendous improvement.
And as adding more parks to take care of, that means we could have to add more personnel, so this could help eliminating hiring more personnel.
To reduce it for sure, at least in the near future.
I want to recall upon my own experience with the city. I do think I worked for the street department for about 8.5 years. Okay, and I worked with the park many times during those years. We worked on in the street department maintenance. At that time they were side by side, but that doesn't make any difference. We worked on their mowers and did light maintenance on certain things for the park department that did not require them to be taken out to the dealers and things like that. Quick things, greasing, changing blades, things that would, be much more expensive and time consuming. You waste a couple hours where you could do it in, a few minutes. The work in, there's a lot of drainage work, a lot of yard work, a lot of street work inside the park, and we help with all of that. Any type of internal projects such as adding a sidewalk or repairing some structure, a lot of that was done utilizing the street department or the other departments at that time. So a lot of that makes sense. And it seems like the park is very short on help during the warm months, and I would say they're long on help in the winter months, but their projects are different. The projects are a lot of them are weather related and things like that, and there are some things that this personnel could probably do in the street department, that is not as so subject to, weather. There's a lot of street projects that most of what we do in the street department was buried in the ground. Most of it's infrastructure that you don't see when you're down in the actual road you drive on or the sidewalk you walk on is the finished result, but that's the last 10%. The 90% of the work is the grade and the drainage and all of these other things, and I think all of those people that work there, they could be used on either side of the fence there.
It would make the personnel stronger in their ability to do more in different places, and be able to, if there's an issue coming up, whether it's the Herbst Fest coming up, they can help get stuff ready, schedule that a day or two ahead of time to get that ready, or in different areas, so it would make them more efficient and more able to do more.
In a traditional year, there's a large number of ball fields that have to be maintained and gotten ready for events on a daily basis, and the swimming pool is it needs to be addressed daily, and with the addition of 2 extra parks within the next, we have one Market Street now, plus the other one that will have a north side.
And the south side part's getting utilized more all the time now too.
Yeah, my relative that lives up there, and it probably saw more use this year than it's ever seen. So I can see why this could be entertaining.
It's kind of, to me, like it's working smarter, not harder, to make things more.
I'm not saying it. I would think that we will uncover some things that may be specific to each side of that, but I don't see the downside of at least taking a deeper look at it.
Again, that would be something that, there has been thought on my part and with other staff to think about this, but that's why I want to have an open discussion about it, to look at the things that maybe I haven't seen yet, get input from those who do the jobs, and make sure that if this is something that we want to proceed with, that's structured well and not just a reaction, but it's something that I think from a fiscal responsibility needs to be taken a look at. And if council is willing to consider this, I will proceed with the process of exploring this and come back with a proposal for this type of green line.
Speaking to Tom's concern about, we're not spending that money now, I do think there is the potential to delay spending money, at least for a significant portion of time, if we did some sort of a collaboration here and had staff that were available, because, there are going to be, every city employee is busy, and there is a lot of important work, but I think there's sometimes I think with proper management, there can be the difference between important and urgent, okay? And I think we can have our urgent work done when we have all our staff, and then we can go back to what's, important that maybe doesn't have to be done today or this week or whatever, and, split the crews as needed.
I know there's going to be a lot of thinking going on with this, with the, if we get the park board members together and the Board of Public Works people together, and us, we can come up with something that possibly will work with this, to see if everybody's in agreement of.
And if it comes to the point where after much consideration that we're better off where we are, I'm certainly not opposed to that. But I think it's a time to study it thoroughly and try to do something that if it does make fiscal and fiscal sense is one way, but reduction, enhancing service, utilizing our resources as to our best of our ability could enhance the overall look and feel of the city. The maintenance of areas that need to be maintained, more eyes, more resources to do those things could be an advantage as well. And I think it's worth considering.
Another example that I noted, that I read here, that the city needs to remain open and nimble to transitions, I think. At one time, we had a separate gas department and a separate gas superintendent, and we did combine that at one time. And we had done the water and the electric were under one superintendent for a significant portion of time. But as regulations change and different things, I think it does require the city to relook at this alignment of who, how these departments, maybe they're better served. At some point, we may have to split the utility department. Right now it works great, but it just depends on how federal and state guidelines come down and change things. We've had to address any number of regulations on the gas side, and I don't know that that'll be a case between the park and the street, but things will evolve over time.
So with that, any other comments? I'm sorry.
So it's combine these two department. The laborers, they have to retrain on the job what they're doing.
I think there's a number of skills in the discussion. There's a number of skills that are common, but there are also a number of skills that are unique to a street department work or a parks department work. I think that where we specialize is keeping those specialties in the labor force, but also finding areas of commonality that they could be cross-trained. But an example would be we have in each department. We're paying a stipend to an individual that does spraying at a certain time of year. That they have a certain stipend. So that skill is shared in those departments. We have skilled backhoe operators in both departments. We have skilled concrete workers in both departments. How do we utilize them better? But there are still areas of specialization that the men and women who have worked in these departments for some time have earned those, have gained those skills. We certainly want them to be the point on those types of projects when those come forward, whether they be in the park or in the street. We need to take a vote, but do I have council consent to proceed with the proposal and do the investigation, come back with a proposal when time is right?
I would make that, not that you need a motion to make that, but I'd like to see, with this going on, what kind of public feedback we get too.
Sure.
Would be important.
Right.
So if we don't throw it out there to the public to give their feedback, we aren't going to get it. So
Right.
I'm sure our phones will be ringing. So.
And it's a process.
Right.
I want to have it thoroughly vetted. So I think probably would be wise to have a motion to proceed with the investigation for department consolidation. A motion to that effect.
Since council's not here, I would agree with you, because I think that would be his recommendation. So I'll make a motion to allow the mayor to move forward on the consolidation proposal.
A motion by McFerrin,
I'll second it.
seconded by Kissling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, council. As was noted, City Attorney Schneider is not with us this evening. Mr. Dipple.
Usually around March or April, I come to you with this ordinance that allows us to move money from one major budget category to another within the same fund without going over the total amount that's been budgeted for that fund. And basically that's what this is some of the line items have started to go into the negative, so I just need that to be passed so we can.
I'll make a motion to give Tom the authority to move those line items around to balance his.
That would be 2020.
Yeah, that's
More than
28?
2020, 28.
Okay, so we have before us ordinance number 2020-28, an ordinance to transfer appropriations from one major department classification to another within the departments and the funds of the city of Huntingburg. Do you have a motion to introduce 2020-28?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ware,
Second.
second by Kissling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. If we have a motion to suspend the rules, we consider this ordinance on the same evening that was introduced. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules?
Motion to suspend.
Motion by Kissling, second by Dubon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We have before us ordinance number 2020-28, transferring appropriations from one major department classification to another within various departments of the city of Huntingburg. Do I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Motion by Kissling,
Second it?
second by Ware. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 2020-28. Roll call. Thank you, Tom.
Aye.
Bounce, Farron,
Aye.
Dubon,
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
Ordinance number 2020-28 is hereby adopted. The item on the special fund.
Yeah, we got that other one. Another ordinance. We were given from Commonwealth Engineers, $10,000 specific donation to be used on the soccer field improvements. In doing that, we have to have set up a new fund to deposit the money into, and that fund would then be, actually I think Brad is taking care of all that. It would be through the Board of Public Works. Those improvements at the soccer field that, I don't know, are right next to the wastewater treatment plant.
The Youth Soccer League has been using that field for several years and really wanted to hold off on any kind of improvement or change in that until we determined whether or not that land would be used in any portion of the new wastewater plant. With that plan now approved, there is an opportunity to improve that field. There's been meetings with the Youth Soccer League planning for next year. There is the wastewater department was planning to do some tiling and drainage work in that area to make the field more playable during wet weather. And Commonwealth became aware of our efforts and was gracious enough to want to help with that project. And so in this ordinance, it would not only set up the fund, but it would also acknowledge and accept the donation of Commonwealth Engineers in the sum of $10,000. And this was also noted at the Board of Works, but I would like to note that as part of the ordinance that we appreciate the support and generosity of Commonwealth in aiding us in this program that is, I know Councilman Dubon and I have spent Sunday afternoons down there watching our family play, and it's an extremely busy and active place on a Sunday, and the Youth Soccer League is growing, and to make some improvements, allow that to continue would be warranted.
We'll be happy to take all those we can get.
Yes, right.
Now, the fund would be known as the Soccer Field Improvement Fund.
So, I have a question. Does this Who's gonna maintain this, the soccer youth field? doing
It would
that?
be maintained primarily by the wastewater department with assistance from the youth soccer league.
Okay.
It would still maintain we would, there would be an agreement for using
So
it.
it's not gonna fall into a Parks Department project?
No,
It's gonna be.
no, this would be wastewater project, and there would be a use agreement going forward.
Which is how it works anyway, right?
Yeah.
Wastewater mows it.
Yeah, the wastewater currently mows it anyway.
Still mowing it, but they-
And
I know there's
Brad was saying that the mowing of that, actually, the work that's being done would assist in the actual, if there was not a soccer field there, it would assist in maintaining the property to have proper drainage and other things, but just a use agreement with the soccer league with the wastewater department.
I thank Commonwealth dearly for their contributions.
Absolutely.
And welcome anybody else.
So we have ordinance 2020.
2029.
29. We're going to get out of 20. It'll be easier next time. 2020, 30. 2020, 29. An ordinance accepting a restricted donation and establishing a special fund to be known as the Soccer Field Improvement Fund for the city of Huntingburg. Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Motion by McFerrin,
I'll second.
second by Ware. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We can suspend the rules and consider this ordinance on the same evening it was introduced, if there is a motion to do so.
Motion
Make that
made.
motion.
Motion by Ware, second by Kissling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We can now consider for final adoption ordinance 2020-29, an ordinance establishing accepting a restricted donation and establishing a fund to be known as the Soccer Field Improvement Fund in the city of Huntingburg. Do I have a motion to adopt?
Make that motion.
Motion by Kissling, seconded by Dubon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion, please, or vote please.
Kissling.
Aye.
Bounds. McFerrin.
Aye.
Dubon.
Aye.
Ware.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
4 ayes, 1 absent. Ordinance number 2020-29 is hereby adopted. Any other items from the council this evening? I do have one other item I just wanted to bring up. I think I still got it on the screen. We were informed today, let me see if this works. On the screen here is a site called Trip Savvy, where they did surveys and chose the top cities to reside, small cities to reside in every state in Indiana. And we were notified that the city of Huntingburg has been the city selected in the state of Indiana. So on the website over here, you can see a description for the state of Indiana of why Huntingburg was selected for this recognition. It says located in southwestern Indiana, Huntingburg is home for 6,500 people. The town's charm exists in its town square and shops and dining flanking the cobblestone Main Street. It's easy to see why the League Stadium was that location for the movie A League of Their Own, starring Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, and Madonna. This is my favorite line. This town is as Americana as it gets. So thank you for the council and all those who have worked so hard to make the public improvements that are that brought this attention to our community. It's being shared in social media and in local media now. Just want to make the council aware of it, and thank you for your continued support on the work that's being done to support those efforts.
Pretty cool.
Do we have any other items from the floor this evening? Hearing none,
Motion to adjourn.
motion by Ware to adjourn.
Well, second.
Seconded by Kissling. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned.